Ivan Katz here at Curtis Park, just outside of Fredericksburg, Virginia, and I'm going to play around here, show you the course, tell you which discs I'm throwing, and why I'm throwing them. Let's get started. Number one here, almost totally blind. You can see it right through the trees there, sort of uphill, 230-ish feet from the red amateur tee pad. You've got to figure out whether you want to go around this way or go around this way.
Wasn't I crying when I gave it to you? I think it was.
Why?
I love you, Dad.
Okay, good toss there with a hex Rakuten. Ended up about 10 feet from the basket. Threw it, and it sort of did a hyzer flip where I threw it with a bit of hyzer. It flipped up straight, stayed straight, and then curved off a bit to the right at the end. Got me around the tree, right near the basket. A good start. Now on to the next one. This is my Vibram Summit approach putter. Okay, number two, 233 feet also. And certainly some trees to worry about, but pretty open, except for right near the basket. Through the Mamba with some Anheuser, straightened out and turned right at the end. Beautiful shot, about 12-15 feet away. Number three is very short, probably about 150 feet maybe, and straight ahead. Certainly some trees on the outside, but pretty easy to get through. I think I'm going to use a mid-range. Okay, so mid-ranges. This is my Cobra. I'm going to explain to you what I did with my Vibram Summit with the Cobra. I have a full video on this Cobra disc where I talk about this disc in particular and also mid-ranges, so check that one out elsewhere. But the mid-range disc is designed to be extremely easy to throw, which means you can throw it with some hyzer and it'll straighten out. And that's what I did with the Vibram Summit. Threw it with some hyzer, it straightens out, and even that one tends to have understable characteristics where it actually can turn left a little bit. It did end up a little bit left of my target, but still, you know, only 10-12 feet away. So a very good shot and very easy to throw. When you're beginning to play disc golf, that's really what you want to use. You can shoot the whole course with a mid-range, and it'll be quite good because you'll learn the characteristics of the disc, and you'll also learn how you throw and what it does when you throw it certain ways. Let me put it in. Okay, number four, 200 feet, straight down the hill. Now it's downhill, so remember, don't throw straight because that'll be too high. Throw it down the hill and in control, and most likely with a mid-range disc. Okay, so I ended up throwing two mid-ranges because I wanted to show you the differences. This one, the Vibram Summit, ended up just about 10-12 feet from the basket, but to the left. And then over here, we have the Glide. And that one is actually more of an overstable mid-range, which means for the flick, right-hand, forehand flick, has a tendency to go ahead and curve off to the right. Whereas I can get the Vibram Summit to go ahead and curve off to the left. But still, baskets here, very close with the Vibram Summit, more of a stable to understable disc. And here with the Glide, more of an overstable disc. But both of them about the same distance, 10-15 feet away from the basket. So good result. And this one, the perfect distance, 200 feet for a mid-range, downhill. Number five, just 200 feet, but uphill. So the MVP Relay, which is a speed 6 control driver, although I think it's more like a mid-range with a speed 6. They have this outer rim around them, which is supposed to make them fly with more control, farther, etc. So it's a cool disc that I've just added to my rotation of regular discs. Now, it was sort of a short drive because, as I said before, it's uphill and I really didn't throw it with enough height. So again, when you're throwing uphill, remember to throw with height. I made that mistake this time, and I've got a tough putt for birdie here. It's probably just outside the circle, which is 33 feet, 10 meters, which means you can jump putt from this distance. It's very close. I'd say it's right on the circle at 33 feet or so. But anyway, tough putt. Remember to throw high and maybe throw a quicker speed disc depending on your abilities. The speed of the disc has to do with the distance, but also it has to do with how easy it is to throw. The lower the number, the easier it is to throw. The higher the number, the farther it can go, but you need to have the power to make it go that far. Okay, wrapping up number 5 here, the MVP relay, speed 6, and remember throwing uphill. Might want to use a little more disc than this, but I made this work with a little skip and a nice long putt with the destroyer. Now most people say, hey, that's a driver, and it is, but I like the way I can throw with actually backhand, right hand backhand, and I can throw this disc, and because it's overstable, it's going to cut right, and for me, I like to make it cut right and into the basket, which I did. So don't listen to other people, throw whatever you like when you like to throw it, and play your game. On to the next one. Number 6 here, 232 feet straight ahead. There's a valley, so downhill, uphill. It's really straight actually, so you definitely want to make sure you throw it with enough height to get it across. 232 feet over the valley. Okay, very nice. Threw the Mamba with a bit of Anheuser, pointed up in the air slightly, and it was able to stay straight, and then finally just curved back a little bit at the end, leaving me about 15 feet from the basket. Number 7, 194 feet straight down the hill, but there's a lot of trouble along the way, so you got to be careful with this throw, definitely. Okay, decent drive with my putter, overshot it, but should be an easy putt in. Another 233 feet, one, and it's uphill, so again, very tough. Okay, threw a couple discs today. It's good when you're playing alone to try some discs out, throw them, see what works for you, and very similar results here with the Halo Air and also the Crank SS, both overstable discs, and they were nice. They got me within, say, probably 50-60 feet of the basket. So tough approach, but let's see what I can do. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it from the further of the two discs, the Halo Air. Okay, so the Halo Air, thrown with some Anheuser to get me up the hill, and well, I tried to make the birdie putt with Cobra, almost made it, but it bounced off, so settle for the par. On to the next one. Okay, number 9, 247 feet, definitely some trees in the way, so you've got to stay the path, straight down the fairway. Well, the overstable Crank SS, pretty good drive, but came up about 30 feet short. Let's see if I can putt it in. Okay, wrapping up 1 through 9 here at Curtis Park outside of Fredericksburg, and had a nice round. And that one was the Crank SS, thrown overstable, curved to the right a bit, left me about 30 feet away, and then I went to my go-to 30-plus footer putt disc, the Destroyer. Of course, it's a driver, but again, I like the way it breaks. And there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this disc golf video. Watch all my other videos as well. Check out my disc reviews, and throwing in a field videos as well. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram and also Facebook, and subscribe to me on YouTube. I'm Ivan Katz.